Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Wisdom of Essential Oils. I'm Leonie Featherstone, and it's my pleasure to be here with you today. So as you hop on with me today, drop a line, say hello, tell me where you're from, what part of the country you're in, what part of the world you're in, because we do have people from all over the world, and it's lovely to have you here today. So my show is called The Wisdom of Essential Oils, and I have the pleasure of working with the beautiful doTERRA essential oils. And so a lot of the information that I will be sharing with you today is just about these oils, because these are the ones that I know so well and have used in my life for the last 10 years. Yes, I can't believe time flies. So hi there, tell me where you're from, what you think of your day's start so far. I'm always interested to know how you're feeling, because we're talking about essential oils and they work so beautifully on so many levels, but particularly on the emotions. Hi, Juliana. Afternoon over there already. Wow. Juliana, you're in New Zealand. So hello to all our New Zealand friends on here today. So I love to have a topic for my show, and today it's going to be a sense of taste. Hi, Kerry. Lovely to have you on again. And so what I'm going to be asking you to chat to me about, because it's not a one-way street, my friends, I'm going to be sharing lots of oils and tips and hints, but I want to hear from you. Are you really tasting everything that life has to offer you? Are you getting the biggest bite out of life that you possibly can? So I want to talk about it on that level, but also today I'm going to talk about how I use the beautiful doTERRA essential oils to flavor my food and add that beautiful, amazing, amplified taste to my cooking. And so I just thought I'd do something a little bit different today. So who out there likes to cook? Hi, Gina. Lovely to have you on. And of course, the other thing that we're going to be doing today is I'm going to be drawing the oil cards. So if you'd like me to draw a card for you and interpret the wisdom of essential oils for you and what that means, I would be more than happy to do that as well. So the other thing that I like to do, if you're new on today, is I like to do a couple of cards for the collective to begin with. And I always draw an oil card, but I also choose from my rather abundant collection of oracle cards, and they come in all different shapes and sizes. And one that I particularly like when I'm looking to go into more of a business mode is from Brendan Burchard, who wrote the Motivation Manifesto and many other amazing pieces of advice. And the card I've drawn of his says, "A life of greater joy, power, and satisfaction awaits those who consciously design their life." And I felt that was really appropriate today because, when we are wanting to get the most out of life and that big bite of all the juicy offerings it has, sometimes people are just meandering through and just sort of like taking what's left over instead of actually consciously designing what you want and then going out and finding it and really feasting on it. So that's a great little bit of advice from Brendan. Hi, Kerry. Yes, absolutely. I'll write you on my list. And Juliana, yes, I shall write you down. Some of you know I have a little bit of a challenge in multitasking. So if I miss your name, please just keep popping it in there until I acknowledge that I've written it down. And even then, if it's kind of getting towards the end of the show and I haven't done yours, please remind me, because, sometimes I get caught up in the moment. Hi, Marie. Yes, absolutely. And Gina. Awesome. Okay, so the oil card for the collective that I've drawn today, excuse me, is one of our beautiful blends, and it is called Motivate. And I thought, again, wow, how appropriate for us talking about how we're going to get the most out of life, how we're going to really make sure that we're getting as much of this beautiful smorgasbord of life as we possibly can. And so what Motivate is encouraging, it's a beautiful citrusy pepperminty blend. And what it's really encouraging us to do is to avoid being discouraged, let go of all that sort of negative thinking, let go of all of that feeling that you can't have what you want, and be confident that you can move forward out of that stuck phase that you might be in. And so what I love about Motivate is that when I inhale it, that beautiful peppermint just gives me that lift, and that citrus kind of almost imbues me with a feeling of hope. And so our centering thought with this oil is, I create experiences in my life that motivate me, they motivate me to take inspired action. And I think that's the key, my friends, inspired. So we need to find our inspiration first, and that comes as part of that whole design process of designing our life. And I am motivated. And the question that we all need to ask ourselves in line with this oil is, why am I so easily motivated? And then we can come up with the reasons, and we can use the oil in conjunction with that. And for those of you who aren't used to using the oils, I invite you to come on a journey with me. This is very superficial what we do in this show, but I love partnering with you and taking a deep dive and being your oily guide as you start to explore the amazing, many benefits of doTERRA essential oils. So that's that one. So maybe drop in here for me. Hi, Wendy. Lovely to have you on here too. Drop in here for me. Like, are you feeling like you are really getting the most out of life at the moment? Some of the other things to think about, like, you know, one of my beautiful friends, David Laws, always talks about the smorgasbord of life. And I think that sometimes we kind of approach life as if we have to do everything or have everything that life has to offer, instead of thinking about it as when you go to a buffet and you go, well, like for me, I'll avoid the fish because I don't eat fish, but I'll eat the vegetables and other things that I like on there. We don't have to eat it all. But when we design, when we know what we want, and we can actually go and meaningfully approach that smorgasbord table, the buffet, we can choose what we want and truly enjoy that and make the most of it. So Wendy's using balance and frankincense. Oh, beautiful. Two of my favorite oils. I've got both of those on already today. Okay, so before we start doing the card readings, one of the things I'm going to just talk about some oils, and I think lime is a brilliant oil. It's a citrus, and most citruses have that kind of way of making us almost feel alive. And so lime is inviting us to really, get into the zest of life and fully experience what is there for us, and to experience it with enthusiasm. We all have different belief systems, but to me, this is like the one opportunity we get at this life. So I want to make sure that I am really making the most of all of the offers that is appropriate for me, and that I am giving back as well. And so part of that giving back, if we want to go with a food analogy, is getting in the kitchen. And I had a lovely day on Saturday. I was teaching a class yesterday about how to use food and essential oils together. And so on Saturday, I was in the kitchen. I had the music on. I'm grooving along between the bench and the stove, and, having fun experimenting with the oils. Now, for those of you who are new to oils, again, I just want to say to you, I'm only talking about the doTERRA oils because I know the purity, and I know the ones that are recognised as safe for food flavouring. If you want to know more on that, just connect with me. But so when you are going to cook, may I make a suggestion that even if you're not in a good mood, get yourself in a good mood, because otherwise that kind of negative energy will kind of flow through to your food. So if you can put some joy and enthusiasm and love into your food, you're going to have a much more peaceful gathering around your kitchen table when people go to consume it. So lime is what I want to suggest. And one of them, I did some cookies, biscuits, whatever you like to call them, on Saturday, and one batch that I made, and this is purely from experimenting, was lime and coconut cookies. Now, when you're adding essential oils to your food, it's really important, that you know the purity and the safety. Also that like with doTERRA oils, they're very potent, so less is more. And it's really important that you don't destroy your food by overloading it with flavour. And so it's really wise to hold your bottle at a 45-degree angle and then just drip it onto a teaspoon if you're not sure, because some of the oils gallop out and some of them are really slow. So you can pop it on a teaspoon, and then you can kind of from there apply into your food. But some people might use a pipette as well. So I'm not going to go into amounts, into recipes and everything today. I just want to give you some ideas. But the other thing is that when you are mixing oils into anything, it's really good to put them into some, if you're using coconut oil, perhaps just into a little bit of coconut oil and a little bit of butter, because then that will capture the oil and allow it to be mixed better throughout the whole mixture. Okay, so that's just a couple of little tips. So lime and coconut cookies, I'm here to tell you, are really, really yummy. So who else do we have on here? Wendy, doTERRA geranium and patchouli together with doTERRA coconut is lovely. De-stress. I might have to try that because I actually don't particularly like patchouli, Wendy. So that's good. Sometimes we have to blend them, and it's the same with cooking. I had another little aha moment on Saturday. I thought, I wonder how fennel would go with beetroot dip. And so I experimented, but I didn't put the fennel directly into the dip. I took a little bit aside first and put a really teeny weeny bit in it, mixed it up, and gave it to my fabulous taste tester, Farmer Green, and he said it was amazing. So, and it was. So then I added it into the bigger amount of beetroot dip. So fennel is a beautiful oil that we use with cooking. It's also really supportive of the digestive system. So I guess that's that's kind of handy if you're a bad cook. Cook with fennel and that'll help with the digestive process. Not that I'm suggesting any of you are bad cooks, by the way. Hi, Nikki. Lovely to have you on here today. Okay, so where was I going with that? Yes, so fennel. But fennel is also an oil that invites us to take responsibility for our life, responsibility for our actions, responsibility for our choices. So again, are you getting the most out of life? Are you really taking a big bite and enjoying that? Or are you just kind of like nibbling and, not really enjoying it? So fennel's probably asking us to take responsibility for ourselves and what we do and how we approach life. So let's start off with some cards. And the first person on the list was Juliana. So maybe you'd like to share with me, if you are using doTERRA essential oils, how you add them to your food. So Juliana, I'm going to write down these oils beside your name in case you come back to me later and ask me. Okay, so you have the DDR Prime blend, which is a beautiful blend to support your cellular health. And on this, on your level, Juliana, maybe this one is inviting you to let go of maybe there's some toxic activity around you at the moment. This doesn't necessarily mean within you, it could be around you, just to let go of any toxicity, any discouragement, any feelings that you have of being damaged by somebody or something, and knowing that you can take control back and that you can work on the repair of that, whether it is a cellular level or whether it is that emotional level. So often, Juliana, we take through from generations past. We carry through thoughts, beliefs, often damage. And so this blend is inviting you to believe that you can work on that and create a healing process. And so your centering thought is, my body is renewed with health and strength. I am transformed into a healthy state of being. And your question to ask yourself, Juliana, is, why is it so easy for me to create positive transformation in my life? So this is your oil to think about using. I'd encourage you, friends, as well, to create an affirmation to go with your oil when you're using it, and to create that affirmation in words that are meaningful to you, because that aromatic anchoring process is really powerful. So there you go, Juliana. That's one for you. Okay, let's do a card for Kerry. Kerry needs some motivation. Okay, so guys, I'm a really big believer in the power of questions and asking yourself, why am I not motivated? And sometimes it's easy to talk about why you can't have or aren't or not the negative side of things. Sometimes I'll ask people what they want and they'll tell me what they don't want. But that's okay, because if you're struggling and that's the space you're in, just write down what you don't want and then flip it to look at what you don't want. Okay, I don't want to be poor. Okay, well, do you want to be abundant? Do you want to be rich? And then you can start focusing what you really do want. So I think sometimes the overwhelm of life. So this is where you bring in your oils again and other tools. There's some beautiful people on here. I mentioned Jess Beard last week, a beautiful practitioner. There's so many people out there that can support you, and we can use the oils as this amazing support tool as well. But I love to use Aroma Touch when I'm feeling overwhelmed. It has basil and it has beautiful oils in there to soothe, lavender, grapefruit, etc., that actually help to relax. But the basil is really good to support my adrenals and that feeling of overwhelm. And then I add frankincense and wild orange to that. And that's my sense of empowerment blend. So if ever I'm feeling a little bit, I bring that in, and it's like, wow, suddenly I'm feeling like I'm more relaxed across the shoulders. I'm not carrying all those burdens, and that kind of motivates me. The other thing I'd love to ask you to do is adopt my friend Ollie the Octopus for your brainstorming tool. And you probably all know by now, you draw a circle in the middle of the page and you draw legs off like an octopus and put circles on the end, and you put the question in the middle. And I'd love you to ask yourselves, what do I want to taste? As in, you might want to do it purely on a food level, or you might want to do it as an experience. What experiences do you want to taste in your life? And do that, because then you can start to, as Brendan Burchard says, to really start to design your life. What table do you want to sit at? What restaurant do you want to go to? And I'm talking about the restaurant of life here. Who do you want sitting around your table of life? And that might mean bringing in some boundaries and bringing in some oils that can support you with that, like our beautiful On Guard blend with wild orange, eucalyptus, rosemary, cinnamon, and clove. Or maybe one of the oils I wanted to talk about today was lemongrass. And lemongrass is amazing for, helping you clear out stagnant energy and helping you to kind of cut through those sort of toxic elements that are around, and helping you to just be clear. And when we clear out anything, we leave space for what we really, really need. And speaking of lemongrass with regard to food, Farmer Green does a mean stir fry, and a little drop of lemongrass goes a long way in that to really enhance the flavour. And those of you who like to use herbs, knock yourself out, keep doing that. But just know that when you've got the essential oil, you've got this intense, really intense flavour. Some will say a drop of doTERRA essential oil when you're cooking is probably equal to about a teaspoon of dried herbs. So that might give you a little bit of an example. Lots of recipes out there. Sometimes you've got to, go through them to see which really suit you or which are really accurate. But basil's a good one to bring in for that overwhelm. But coming back to lemongrass, we'll move to basil soon. I was experimenting because we can't always make things from scratch. We might be in a hurry. And I bought a spring onion and potato dip the other day. And again, I just sort of had this flash and thought, what if I put some lemongrass in it? And it was stunning. So this is another point I want you to think about. Listen to your inner voice, whether it's to do with the physical use of an oil, an emotional use, or even a culinary use. Just trust your gut. Do a little experiment, just as we would do a little experiment on our skin once we've diluted the oil, to see how that feels before we put it all over our body. And know that your inner wisdom will really shine when you allow it. When we stop cluttering up our space with noise and other people and all the rest of it, start listening to yourself, and you'll have amazing results on all levels. So lemongrass with sweet potato and spring onion dip is amazing, and in stir fries, etc. So I'm going to do a card for Kerry. Sorry, Kerry, I got distracted. Okay. So Kerry, this is a beautiful oil. This is a beautiful comforting oil. It is our blend called Console, and it's one from the emotional aromatherapy range. And if you really are wanting to get your emotions under control and you're not really sure about what oils to pick or anything, we have a great set of 6. And it's called the Emotional Aromatherapy range. You can get it in 6 5ml bottles with a diffuser as a starter pack, or you can just buy the rollers, which are, when I say roller, I mean like a roller bottle, and they're already diluted with coconut oil, and they're great for like on the go, and I use them as perfume. So you've got 6 there. So there's some ideas for you. If you're not already using doTERRA essential oils, you're not already partnered up with a doTERRA person, I'd love to be your guide. So just message me later. You're welcome to like my Facebook page, Sense of Empowerment, or you can just friend me on Leonie Featherstone. And yeah, go check out my website as well, senseofempowerment.com.au. Still in a work in progress, but there is a page on there on aromatic anchoring with some suggested blends as well. It might be of use to you. Bye, Wendy. Wendy, you can listen to the replay if I'm doing a card for you. I can't remember whether you've asked for one, but anyway, thank you for being on here. So Kerry, back to you, because it's all about you right now. So, Kerry, if this, I'm not sure, only you will know, something going on at the moment where you're feeling like you need a big hug, you need a little bit of comforting, Console is a beautiful blend. It can give you a hug, but it can really reach deep down into your soul and comfort your heart and your soul. And so whatever is going on, this is just inviting you to know that you're not alone, that you are supported, you are protected, you are comforted. And it's going to allow you a place to heal. It's going to give you that peace of mind that healing can take place and that you can move forward from this. So your centering thought is, I accept the painful transitions in life as moments to reflect and learn that pain can be a great teacher when we look for the lesson. And your question, Kerry, is, why do I feel such peace and comfort? So if you haven't got Console, Kerry, you might like to add that to your doTERRA family. Okay, so that was Kerry. Let me write down that. And then I'm just going to make sure, I'm just going to scroll up here, bear with me. Marie asked for a card. So let's do a card for Marie. And are any of you other lovely ladies and gentlemen on here, and some of you won't see each other's comments because I'm streaming into 3 pages today. So you're very welcome, Kerry. If you're using the essential oils in your food, let me know. What wonders are you concocting? And so now we have Marie. Just write that down. Marie, you have Easy Air, which is our respiratory blend. This is a beautiful blend. It has lemon and tea tree and eucalyptus and a number of other oils in there. And on a physical level, it's really supportive when we are feeling quite congested in our chest and unable to get the beautiful breath of oxygen in. So this is going to help to open up your airways. But it's also, it's a beautiful oil if you are, at the moment, Marie, working through any grief or any feelings, that of loss. So this is going to help to open up and release that grief. It's going to help you open up and let it all out. Let it all out and bring in the new breath of life. It can be so overwhelming sometimes when we are suffocated by sorrow. So Marie, if that is what you're going through at the moment, I'm sending you a big hug. But Easy Air is really a great support. And what this is going to help you to do is create a space to breathe through everything that's going on in your life right now. And your centering thought, Marie, is, it is safe for me to open up and release all of the emotions that weigh me down. I am open and I am free. And your question is, why do I feel so healed and free? So I hope that is of some comfort to you, Marie. Okay, here we go. Hello, Chris. Welcome, Chris. And Gina. Yes, Gina, I've got you next, Gina, but thank you so much for reminding me. Gina, just before I go to you, I want to talk about another oil that I love to cook with, and also I think it's so important when we are looking at, what are we getting out of life? Are we really, eating up this yummy life of ours and getting the most out of it? And I think a beautiful oil is green mandarin. I do love citruses, and I love to add citruses to my water to flavor the water. And it's such an invigorating thing to do. Makes the water taste good. And then I'm getting all those beautiful components, the constituents of the essential oils, in to support my physical body as well. But green mandarin we like to think about as the oil of potential, because mandarins, as they grow, they take all the green mandarins off, or they take a portion of them off to allow all the goodness and nourishment to go into the rest of the fruit on the tree. And so those are normally lost. But then what we've found is that when we extract the oil from that fruit, it is just stunning, and it has so many applications and uses. So the potential that was nearly lost. And I think that happens to all of us. There's a part of us, are you feeling right now that you're expressing all of your talents? Are you feeling like your potential has been reached? That there is something still to come? Do you ever have that little voice saying, I'm playing small again? Well, I want to invite you all to stop playing small. I want to invite you all to just sit at that table of life and really take what's yours. take a really big helping of whatever it is that you want. And so green mandarin is really helpful in that respect. So it's like, you know, it's that budding excitement. It kind of takes us back to that little child. And maybe that's something that might help you to go back to what you used to feel as a child. If you can feel that sort of freedom and that, you know, as a child, you wanted to be a superhero or you wanted to be a ballet dancer or whatever it was, you weren't inhibited by other people's thoughts or keeping you down. So green mandarin is a great oil to bring in there. But it's also awesome in cooking. And a couple of my favorite ways to use green mandarin is very simple, because I'm a simple girl, is I like to get some coconut yogurt and add a couple of drops of green mandarin into it, and then use it to dip strawberries or other pieces of fruit into. Or you could use it as a topping over a fruit salad. But I went another level yesterday. I decided to experiment a little more. And I thought, what if I added cacao into the green mandarin and into the coconut yogurt and then added green mandarin? And that was just stunning. The cacao can be a little bit bitter, so I did add a tiny bit of honey. So coconut yogurt, cacao, tiny bit of honey just to take the edge off the bitterness of the cacao, and green mandarin, and you have the most stunning dessert just on its own. But then when you dip fruit in it or mix it with fruit. So there's another simple tip for you. So Gina, thank you for your patience. Okay, Gina, we're going to draw one of our beautiful oil cards for you. And Gina, we have oregano. Okay, so oregano is another great oil to use in cooking, and we'll come back to that. But oregano is also so potent and so strong, and it's kind of asking you, Gina, maybe to let go of a little bit of that strong-willed, maybe, and I'm feeling this with you, it's about letting go of control. Sometimes we try to control other people or other circumstances, Gina. And so I guess what this is asking you to do is let go of that responsibility and just come back to working on you and the things that you can control. And sometimes that release is amazing, because maybe you're taking on something that you don't need to take on. This is also inviting you, Gina, just to be a little bit flexible, because sometimes when we're holding on so tight, if you want to just imagine that, Gina, that you're holding and gripping something so tight, feel what that's doing to the rest of your body. You're kind of putting pressure on the rest of your body. Whereas when you lessen your grip a little, the body relaxes and you can flow better. So sometimes this takes a bit of humility. Sometimes it takes a lot of courage, Gina. And this is not about right or wrong. This is just about looking at things from a different perspective. And really it's about looking after your needs as well. So your centering thought is, I release my need to control and always be right. Now, may I just share, Gina, I can remember pulling this card once and I straight away kind of went, I don't always need to be right. And then I had to look at it from a different perspective, is that I try so hard to do the right thing that it kind of like hits me sometimes when maybe it isn't. So maybe it's just releasing a bit of that pressure on ourselves. So maybe that's for you as well. So I see the value in others and in their own individuality. I release the toxic relationships in my life. And your question, Gina, is, why is that so easy for me to be humble? So I hope that resonates with you as well. Okay, so what's another oil? Oh, another great oil, I believe, to help us with empowering us to, take what is ours and really taste the goodness of life is ginger. And ginger is the oil of empowerment. It's quite a warming oil. So if any of you have kind of like creaky joints and you want to give yourself a nice warming massage, you could use our ice blue blend, which is great for supporting that as well. But add some ginger into it because it'll be warming and it'll help with circulation and really help. But on an emotional level, it really helps us to see that we can put our cape on, that we don't have to kind of like hide in the corner. We don't have to be a victim. We can stand tall and we can fly. So ginger is really about, taking back your own power and, knowing that, you do matter. You do have worth, you do have value, and to really live and go all out, go all out. And so a great quick little recipe for you. Thank you, Nicole. Lovely to have you on here. Nicole used to come onto the show with me and hopefully will again one day. But thank you for being on here. But ginger is such an awesome oil to use as flavoring your food to give it that boost of taste. And so a really quick and easy recipe is just to get macadamia nuts, medjool dates, put them in your blitzer and add some ginger oil and then roll them into like little balls, and you can just eat them like that. But let me tell you, when you flatten them a little bit and put them in the oven and bake them for about 15 minutes, hubba, hubba, they are yummy. And the smell of ginger permeating through your kitchen, and of course that ginger then that you're inhaling is like, woo! So ginger is an awesome oil to bring into your life, either emotionally or in the kitchen. So what do we do? I just forgot to write down your oil for you, Gina. So Nikki, my friend, let's draw a card for Nikki. And with Chris, I haven't forgotten you either. So if I've forgotten anyone else, just pop it in the chat now so that I don't have to trawl back through it, because I'd love to, draw a card for everyone that we can today. Sometimes we run out of time. You're welcome to connect with me. And particularly if you want to go on a deep dive, I've now just dropped the cards all over the table, so that was clever. The other thing too, I'm really passionate about sharing these oils with the world, and I realise I can't do that on my own. So if any of you are practitioners of any description and you would like to bring the oils into your world so that you can touch the lives of your clients more, PM me so we can have a chat and I can show you how you can do that in a very simple way where you can still focus on your passion, but the oils can come in behind and help you, but also add a leveraged income stream for you. So Nikki, nothing like pulling the big guns. Nikki, sandalwood. Oh, love it. Most of you know by now I'm addicted to trees. I just love my trees and their wisdom. And I want to invite you all to start using nature as your advisory board. Just take your shoes off, go stand on some earth and look at the plants, the trees, whatever nature spot you can create in your little world. And just sit and listen and ask yourself, what is this leaf trying to tell me? What is this flower saying to me? And yes, I may sound like I've lost the plot, but it's amazing when you do that you can actually, it's almost like your little voice inside says, yes, she's been quiet. Now I get a chance to speak. And you'll hear your own inner wisdom that's tapping into the wisdom of the universe. So Nikki, all about you, coming back to you. Sandalwood. Now, sandalwood is one of those trees that I love to, give the imagery of, that it needs a host tree to survive. And so this is really inviting us to be humble. Don't be so, I can do this alone. We need to be humble and be a little bit vulnerable to ask for help, to know that we don't always know it. And Nikki, this is about asking for information as well and learning from other people, which I'm sure you already do. And sometimes these are just little reminders. So sandalwood is also, excuse me, an oil that is inviting you, Nikki, just to be still and to listen. Sandalwood, as you probably know, is often used in meditative practices because it does have this ability to still the mind and to calm the body on a physical level, but just to be still and to tap into that inner wisdom and hear your own little voice that's dying to be heard, and to tap into the voice of spirit that's trying to speak to you as well. And so, letting go of a lot of the baggage and just being still, Nikki. And this will allow you to have space. It's all about releasing. We need to release so that we can have space to bring in the goodness, bring in the abundance, bring in the wisdom of others, our inner wisdom. And your centering thought, Nikki, is, I am connected, clear, and conscious. I align with the desires of my creator. And your question to ask yourself, Nikki, why is it so easy for me to feel connected and resilient? So I hope that resonates well with you, Nikki. Okay, so Gina, you are very welcome. Hi, Jenny. Welcome. Jenny, I'll pop you on the list and draw a card from you soon. And Chris, you're up next. I just want to talk about Another really powerful oil, and it's often used in cooking when we're flavoring foods with our beautiful gifts of nature, and that is turmeric. Now, turmeric is really powerful. It's very powerful with helping us. There's constituents in there that help with inflammation. And so it's powerful on a physical level, and it's something I add into my daily regime because we're all bombarded with so much toxicity in the world, and that does get into our body. So I'm sort of trying to clean up my body and avoid inflammation. And, inflammation is a precursor to disease. So that's something that I'm using. But on a emotional level, turmeric just invites us to reach into that part of ourself that might be a little bit damaged, might be a bit rusty, and to restore what we have lost. And it's a really good oil to bring in if you're feeling like there's a lot of upheaval or chaos in your life. And gosh, who hasn't had that in the last 12 months? And so this is an oil that will offer strength. It'll offer hope to ground us and to support us during those periods of upheaval and change. So that's something that's important for all of us, I believe. But when you're using it in cooking, you'll see it in a lot of different recipes. I think it comes into a chai recipe if you're into chai. But I used it the other day. I just did some roasted nuts. So I just got a mixture of nuts, and then I just made up a like a blend of honey and coconut oil and turmeric and black pepper, and just blended it through all the nuts, and then laid it on a baking paper on a tray in the oven and roasted them, and they're really yummy. So there's so many simple ways you can bring these oils into your life. But black pepper is another one that is very helpful when we are trying to work out what we want out of life, so we can get this a better flavor in our world. And so black pepper is really good because it's inviting us to go in, and it's kind of like peeling away the mask, taking off the mask. And so often, we come through life and we've had other people's beliefs imprinted upon us, or maybe we've been judged for things we've done, or so we have this opinion that, I shouldn't be doing that, and this is the way I need to behave, or whatever. And so some of that kind of there may be a little bit of resentment or whatever buried down there. And so we really need to go down and really unmask who we are and find ourselves and allow ourselves to come out. And my friends, it is no good pushing stuff down. Oh yeah, just push that away, because when we push stuff down, it has this habit of coming up when we least expect it. And sometimes that can be a bit embarrassing. So it's really good to do the inner work of looking at who we are, and are we expressing ourselves honestly? Are we being this amazing being we're designed to be? And so if we're not expressing honestly, sometimes that comes out in other ways. It could come out in addictive behavior, etc. So maybe add some black pepper into your world and do a little bit of soul searching. But black pepper is also wonderful as an addition to hummus. And, add a bit of lemon and black pepper essential oils into your hummus, and wow, the flavor. And be really creative with your hummus. Yesterday I had a friend, Susan, who came along, and she'd made a couple of dishes of hummus, and in one she'd mashed pumpkin and created a hummus, and with another she'd blended an avocado through pesto and some chickpeas and created hummus, and she'd added essential oils into those. So this is so exciting when you get in the kitchen. If you're not a really detailed cook, which I'm not, I like 4 ingredients or less, it's really fun what you can create. And you can create nourishing food simply without adding any other additives and preservatives into your life. Grapefruit and some of the citrus oils can be really good for using to add a bit of bench life to your foods as well. So Delphine, this is live. I can add you to the list. So let's go to Chris. Chris, where are you from, Chris? I've forgotten, but anyway, let's have a look. Chris, and here we have an oil that I've already spoken about. Hi, Regina. Thank you so much. Okay, so your oil, Chris, is fennel. And I mentioned this before when I said I did a little experiment and I added some fennel essential oil, doTERRA essential oils. I'm only talking about those guys, so please don't go adding any essential oils to your food unless you really know that that oil is food safe. So fennel I added to beetroot dip, and it was just exquisite. So if any of you have used fennel in some other recipes, please let me know. I'd love to hear about it. But fennel is very much about taking responsibility for where you're at right now. Chris, just checking I've got the right person. Chris, lovely to have you on here. So this is about being aware. It's about connecting to yourself. It's about letting go of any numbness, anything that you're feeling shame about. Shame does not serve us, not at all. Neither does blame. So we want to let go of all of that, because sometimes we are so busy operating out there instead of coming within and working on what we can control. So we take responsibility for that, and we are going to tune in. Chris, tune into yourself and really look at what's going on and what's good for Chris. So this is about meeting your needs. This is about focusing on you, and this is about having a stronger and healthier connection to you on all levels: emotional, physical, spiritual. And so fennel is inviting you, Chris, to tune in to your body, connect with your body, and to honor your body. And your question to ask yourself, Chris, is why is it so easy for me to love and care for my body? So I hope that resonates with you. And part of that caring for our body, my friends, everyone that's on here today, is looking at how we nourish ourselves. You know, what are we tasting? Are we tasting things in life that we are not serving us? Meaning, are we involved in activities? Are we involved in groups, etc.? It's not just the food we eat; it's the thoughts we think. It's what we're listening to. It's what we're watching. So I think it's really, you know, maybe we can all add a little bit of fennel into our life and take responsibility for what we are feeding this magnificent vessel that we have. Okay. Oh, hi, Chris. You're from Adelaide. Wonderful, wonderful. We tend to have people from all over on here. It's wonderful how the internet can bring us all together. I feel like you're all just sitting around in the lounge room with me. It's lovely. So, yes, so fennel. So I'm going to go on to Jenny. I've got a few other oils I want to share with you that are great in food, but I also want to make sure that I'm looking after you as well. So Jenny from another Queenslander. Let's see what we have for you, Jenny. You have another one of my favorites, so I'll just write that down. You have our ice blue blend, and it's such a beautiful, soothing blend. This one we definitely do not put in cooking. Oh, Delphine's from Calvar. Okay, lovely. So, Jenny, ice blue is a beautiful blend of oils that will help with any creaky, achy joints that aren't moving, backs that aren't performing properly, sporting soreness, etc. And it has wintergreen in there, and wintergreen has methyl salicylate in there, and you probably all know that that's a great analgesic, or part of. It has peppermint in it, which is wonderful for circulation. It has helichrysum in there, it has components in there that are really supporting and soothing and regenerating to our cells. So this is a beautiful oil to use when you aren't moving so freely. It's something I use constantly as I work to improve my structural issues, and it's something I often put on during the night, and it helps me to sleep. So, okay, so back to you, Jenny. So that's on a physical level. So what this perhaps is inviting you to do, Jenny, is to just look at where pain is sitting in your life right now. And that could be an emotional pain, I'm thinking right now. But if it's a physical pain, look at it and ask yourself, where did that come from? What is this teaching me? I'm feeling my shoulders right now, and when I feel my shoulders overwhelmed, sometimes it's telling me I'm taking on too much. So that's what I'm trying to say to you, Jenny, is look at where that pain is and what is the lesson to you? What is the lesson to you? Is it telling you to, maybe you are taking on too much at the moment? Is it telling you that that was just something that you needed to work through? Because often we try to avoid pain and we kind of like blame the pain instead of thinking, well, okay, what is this teaching me? what is this teaching me right now? Is it teaching me resilience? Is it teaching me that I needed to go through that because there is better on the other side? You know, you think of that saying, you know, metal's forged in fire and it comes out so much stronger. Maybe that's the lesson for you, Jenny. And I think, Jenny, when you can look at things like that and take the lesson, you will find more peace from that pain, whatever it is you're going through. And so let go of any resistance to it. And what your centering thought is, Jenny, is I walk through pain with courage and strength to overcome and to learn from it. And your affirmation, this is the question to ask yourself, Jenny, is why am I so courageous? Because you are. Because you are. Ask yourself that question and you will come up with lots more reasons, and that will give you the strength to move forward even further. So that's for you, Jenny. Okay. What are oils? Oh, I know another oil that I love just another citrus. Citruses are so versatile. Now you could use them in your salad dressings, you know, mixing them with some salad oil. I would think, you know, tangerine, black pepper, bit of lemon, that would be really lovely. Wild orange goes in everything. We'll talk about that in a moment. But the reason I put tangerine in here is because I recently melted some really good quality dark chocolate and I just added some tangerine to that and stirred it in. And then again, for dipping strawberries, or if you want to be really indulgent, you could dip some shortbread cookies in there. And you can either dip them and eat, or you could dip them and then sit them on a baking sheet and put them in the fridge so the chocolate sets. If you're going to be making your own chocolate with coconut oil and cacao and maybe some maple syrup, you can do the same thing. But just know that if you're going to put them out for guests, it will melt a lot quicker than your traditional bought chocolate. Okay, so tangerine. Why do I want to bring tangerine in here? Because tangerine is this a sparkling, I want to say, a sparkling citrus, and it's really about encouraging us to have spontaneity and to bring out the creativity. Because again, as I mentioned earlier, you know, when we sit at the table of life, are we taking what we want, or is that little creative spark inside us not being activated? And so tangerine's going to invite us to do that. Just bring that gladness to the heart, gladness to the soul. So bring in some tangerine. Bring in some wild orange. You haven't lived until you've tried doTERRA wild orange. And I love to add that to everything, but particularly chocolate. And I do make my own chocolate with coconut oil and cacao and maple syrup, as I mentioned. And then I just I mix all that up and put in whatever oils I want. One of my favorite combos is ginger, wild orange, and cardamom. And mix all that up, tip it out into a baking sheet. And then I just add in whatever I've got going. It might be caramelized pecans, it might be cranberries, it might be sultanas, it might be chopped crystallized ginger. And always I like to put shavings of coconut all over it. And then just pop it in the fridge. And it goes hard, and then you break it up into little pieces and pop it in a airtight container and keep it in the freezer and just nibble when you want. So there's lots of ways you can use your oils, but wild orange is the oil of joy and abundance. And I want you to bring that into your life, because the abundance is there for you to taste. The abundance is yours to have. You just have to, as Brendan Burchard says, design it. You have to decide. So maybe do that taste dolly, work out what you want to taste out of life. And then we can design some oils to go with that. And if you'd like to do a deep dive on that, I'd love to work with you on that as well, on your taste dolly, and get you a starter pack of oils going that you could bring in and create some daily rituals so that you really are playing big at the table of life and getting what you deserve out of it. So let's do a card for Delphine. Oh, and then I've nearly forgotten. I always do a blend and an affirmation for you. So I'm going to give you that as well. So Delphine, neutron tangerine. It's amazing how often this happens, that I will have oils to talk about and then we just draw them out. But yeah, tangerine, again, as I mentioned. So this is now specifically for you, Delphine. So if at the moment, Delphine, you are feeling a little overwhelmed or a bit jaded, tangerine is your girl. And so this is really, I think, for you, Delphine, to just bring out that creative Delphine that maybe has not been playing. So bring her out, girlfriend, and let her out to play. And When you express that creativity, it's almost like you turbocharge your other parts of your body, and that's going to help with overall wellness as well. So bring this tangerine in, Delvine, and you'll find that your heart will just, wow, it'll almost like inflate and bring that sense of gladness to you. So it's going to create room, it's going to expand you, it's going to bring that fun and excitement back into your life. And your centering thought, I am creative, life is fun, I am open to all possibilities, and life is full of joy. And your question to ask yourself, Delphine, why is my life so fun and so full of joy? So I hope that resonates well with you. Okay, so today's topic was sense of taste, because I wanted to spark a thought process within you about, well, what I want to taste in life, what I want to have a crack at. Am I really savoring everything that is mine to have? And the other thing I wanted to talk about was how we can use the oils on another level, because, when you invest in the doTERRA essential oils, it is an investment. It's not just to buy oils and stick them on a shelf. We want to make sure that you get your money's worth out of them. And when you start to realize that you can use them on a physical level, you can use them to support your emotions and use them in your spiritual practices, and you can use them to flavor your food, and that's only the beginning. You can clean, you can use them in skincare, whatever. You're starting to realize that this is such a valuable asset to have in my life. And it's almost like your shopping dollars start to move. That, for me, I spend less on cleaning, I spend less on skincare, I spend less on so many things because I'm replacing it with essential oils. I may have mentioned in previous episodes where I don't use herbal tea bags anymore because I just use my essential oils. And that can be another fun process. So my blend for you today was, let me have a look here. I brought in a blend into the blend, which is Zendocrine, and it's a blend that we have that is about releasing toxicity and really clearing out on a physical level, but on an emotional level. It's like, let's clear it out. We're unrestricted. We're unrestricted. The sky is the limit. I bought in lemon myrtle. Lemon myrtle is just taking over my heart at the moment. I love it to bits. I've got it diffusing right now. Lemon myrtle is so powerful because it's helping us to cut through the fog. It's helping us to do you ever feel like you're just on autopilot? Get up, clean your teeth, have breakfast, go through the day, go to bed. Lemon myrtle is like, whoop, no, let's stop the autopilot. Let's really just cut through the fog, get some clarity on who you want to be, where you want to go, and let's get an action plan in place. The other one I brought in there is petitgrain. Petitgrain is actually quite a calming and soothing oil on a physical level. It's sometimes called the man's lavender because it doesn't smell girly. It has very soothing effects. But on an emotional level, petitgrain is really good for helping us to break chains, break those patterns of habit, either within our own lifetime or maybe those from generations past that we have brought through with us. It's also about doing that with love, compassion, and gratitude for what our previous ancestors have brought through to us, and by the lessons, and also knowing that it's okay to change, that it's okay not to take on what we don't want to take on. The other one that I have in there is Litsi. Litsi is another one that really sets me on fire at the moment. It's just such a beautiful, uplifting oil, but it's also about bringing us into alignment. And then I bought in myrrh, Mother Myrrh, which is the oil of nurturing and feeling safe and feeling secure. So I wanted us to let go of what isn't serving us. I wanted us to get clear. I want us to learn from the past, but not bring through to the past what doesn't serve us, and be grateful, and to take what we need in alignment with our needs, not just what somebody else says or what we feel we should, and then to do that in this safe bubble where we can really blossom and grow. And I added to that an affirmation, which is, I nourish myself from the table of life. I drink deeply from the well of abundance. I am fully alive. I am grateful. So create your own affirmation, maybe from what you've learnt today. take a couple of oils and start bringing them into your life so that you can design the life you want, that you can sit at the table of life that you choose. You can choose the meal you want to consume, choose the thoughts you want to consume, choose the program you want to listen to, watch, etc. Be a guardian of your thoughts because they feed us or they don't feed us. It's your choice. So take responsibility, bring that fennel in there. And then, Jenny, thank you very much. Oh, Delphine, sorry to hear that. Okay, so last but not least, spearmint. I want to throw spearmint into the mix because I want you to have the courage to find your inner voice. I want you to have courage that your emotions count, your thoughts count, your words count, your opinions count, and to have the courage to speak up and to take action based on those. And so know that the more you honor your feelings and your thoughts, the more alive you will feel. And there'll be no more playing small. You will stand on the stage of life and you will express yourself and you will get the greatest taste of life that you want to taste. So thank you so much for being with me today. I'm just going to end a little bit quicker today because I have another appointment to go to. And I really loved having you all on here. Thank you so much. Really want to extend an invitation to connect with me. Let's go on a deep dive. Come on an oily journey with me. I always make sure you get the oils at the best price, which is the same price I pay, which is wholesale. And you don't just get the oils, guys, you get me as well. I'm your oily guide and I'd love to be that for you. So have a wonderful week. Be back next week, same time, same place. Have an awesome week. And what I'd love you to do, if you have taken something away from this, send me a message. Just tell me what you got out of it. Or come back on next week and tell me what you've done with it this week. Because it's all very well to take in information, but it's the application of that information that's going to bring about change in your life. So I invite you to do that. Okay, so have an awesome week and I will see you next week. Bye.